When we speak of New York City in the 1950s, we are not simply describing a decade. We are describing a moment in American history when confidence and contradiction existed side by side. For many, it was a time of stability, work, and routine. For others, it was a period of exclusion and quiet struggle. To understand the city during these years, we must look beyond nostalgia and examine the realities that shaped daily life. The decade began in the shadow of World War II. Millions of veterans returned home, started families, and sought steady employment. New York City stood as the financial and cultural capital of the nation. Nearly 8 million people lived within its borders. The city was dense, busy, and purposeful. Every morning, commuters filled subways and sidewalks, carrying newspapers, lunches, and expectations. Manhattan was the center of American commerce. Wall Street symbolized economic power, while Midtown housed publishers, broadcasters, and corporate offices. The workday followed a predictable rhythm. Many New Yorkers measured time by train schedules, lunch hours, and the evening commute home. Immigration continued to shape the city, though in different forms than earlier eras. Large numbers of Puerto Ricans arrived seeking opportunity and stability. African Americans continued moving north from the South, drawn by the promise of industrial jobs and greater personal freedom. These communities contributed significantly to the city's cultural and economic life, even when they were denied equal access to housing and resources. Culturally, New York remained vibrant. Jazz music flourished, particularly in Harlem and downtown clubs. This was not merely entertainment, it was expression, innovation, and identity. Writers, artists, and thinkers gathered in neighborhoods like Greenwich Village, questioning conformity and materialism. Their ideas reflected a growing discomfort with rigid social expectations. Sports provided unity and familiarity. Baseball, in particular, held enormous importance. With 3 major league teams, New York was a national center of the sport. Games were discussed in workplaces, homes, and neighborhood stores, offering a shared experience across class and background. Yet beneath this sense of order and success, significant changes were taking place. One of the most consequential developments of the 1950s was suburban expansion. Improved highways and affordable automobiles allowed families to move away from the city. For many middle-class residents, this represented progress and comfort. For the city, it meant population loss, reduced tax revenue, and increasing segregation. Urban development during this period was heavily influenced by Robert Moses. His large-scale projects transformed New York's infrastructure, creating bridges, expressways, and housing developments. While these projects modernized the city, they also displaced hundreds of thousands of residents. Entire neighborhoods were removed in the name of progress, often with little concern for the communities affected. Housing discrimination was widespread. Practices such as redlining restricted where Black and Latino families could live or secure mortgages. Overcrowding, underfunded schools, and limited employment opportunities became persistent problems in many neighborhoods. These inequalities were not accidental. They were the result of policies and decisions made at every level of government. The 1950s also marked a shift in how Americans lived at home. Television became a common presence, reshaping family routines and public discourse. Information, entertainment, and advertising entered living rooms daily, reinforcing social norms and expectations. At the same time, manufacturing jobs, long a backbone of the city's economy, began to decline, quietly undermining long-term economic stability. By the end of the decade, New York City remained influential, but it was changing. The optimism of the post-war years coexisted with growing awareness of inequality, displacement, and social tension. These unresolved issues would become central to the movements and conflicts of the 1960s and beyond. Looking back, New York City in the 1950s represents a turning point. It was a period of confidence built on hard work and ambition, but also a time when decisions were made that shaped patterns of inequality for generations. Understanding this decade allows us to better understand the city and the country as it is today.